First round of the books, a 41-7 win against Rose-Hulman. Now, on to the second, and a special game on tap. Wheaton comes to town in an epic showdown between rivals for the right to advance. Plus, we count down the top 5 plays of the fall season. All that and more is next on the Red Zone.
Presenting sponsor of the Red Zone is Athletico, the preferred provider of physical therapy and athletic training for North Central College.
Rose-Hulman in the playoffs for the first time in program history. North Central making its first appearance since 2013. Let's look at the highlights of the round 1 matchup.
Cardinals' first possession, and with a 22-mile-per-hour wind at their backs. Austin Brunig breaks through for a 12-yard pickup, a good sign for NCC early in the game. Rudder recently named the CCIW's Art Keller Offensive Player of the Year as a freshman. Next play, Rudder showing why.
Rudder back to the air, near side, and it is caught. Touchdown, North Central on the opening possession. Alex Ulmer on the receiving end of a Brock Rudder touchdown pass.
7 minutes of game time later, and Rudder right back to where he picked up that first touchdown.
Under a minute to play, first quarter, Brock Rudder steps up in the pocket. Ryan Kuhl is all alone in the end zone. He hauls it in for the second touchdown of the day. Falling down in coverage, Alec Thompson and the Cardinals strike again.
Team switching sides to start the second, so now it's Rose-Hulman's turn to take advantage of that win.
Hogan with a lot of open space, cuts it to the pylon and dragged down, but not before crossing the goal line. Touchdown, Fighting Engineers.
Longest play of the game for Rose-Hulman, nets him 6, and that's the score at the half, 17-7. Third quarter starting slow. Protection breaks down around Rudder, and he gets twisted to the ground. A sack for Kalen Garner, the flag for holding. That's declined. The Cardinals forced to punt. 4th and 4 now from near midfield.
49-yard line inside Cardinal territory. Swenson, deep drop back, goes to the flat, and Brandon Kibbe will deny them the first down. Pass was complete to Raymond Burtnick, and Kibbe had about a yard of cushion to work with before they go to the fourth quarter, and the field flips again. Rudder looked like he slipped midway through his drop back. Ulmer over the middle, and he's going to go the distance. 54 yards. Rudder to Ulmer, and the Cardinals strike for the 4th time today.
Now, aside from that touchdown earlier, it had been a pretty quiet day for Ryan Kuhl. That is until now. Holding called on Alec Thompson, first down, and that'll set off the junior wide receiver.
Rudder lost one down the sideline. Fight for it. And winning the battle up top is Ryan Kuhl.
Boy, and I thought you could have called interference there, too.
Provided by Thompson on the outside. Going right back at him. Kuhl again! Hauls it in for the touchdown! Oh, my!
Both Kuhl and Ulmer finishing with 7 catches, 100-plus yards, and 2 scores apiece. Fourth quarter, Cards pulling away in earnest. Brunig punches it in from 9 yards out, 5th touchdown of the season, 80 yards on 20 carries in the contest. Defense fantastic all day long. Just 210 yards of offense allowed. This the only sack of the game. DJ Workenthien bringing Swenson down. The Cardinals move on. And don't look now, but Wheaton is coming to town next. The first postseason meeting between the two longtime rivals.
Welcome into the Red Zone, and following that first round win, Coach Jeff Thorne is on set. And Coach, congratulations on that first round win. That's a good football team that you guys beat.
Very good team. We thought so on film. You know, they posed some problems on offense with their pace. They didn't take as many shots down the field as we thought maybe they would, but that might be their adjustment to the pressure we're able to get on the quarterback. I don't know, but defensively they were a very physical team, and I thought their secondary was very, very good. They ran well. They had great hips to change directions, and they covered us and made it tough.
I want to talk about the conditions, because post-game you said you guys stuck to your game plan the way you came in. The coach for Rose-Hulman admitted that the wind really was a factor for them in their passing game. Did you feel like during the course of the game it was making an impact?
Honestly, no, I really didn't. You had to be careful you had to pick and choose where you took shots and trying to drive the ball down the field based on how the wind was blowing. But, when you get the ball in the right position to take those shots, then it's when we tried to do that so that Brock wasn't throwing directly into the wind and trying to push the ball up the field. But no, it didn't take us out of our game plan at all.
Defensively, you knew that those guys were going to run 90-some plays a game. It was a fast-paced offense. Were you happy with the way that the defense stepped up and got them 3 and out early in the game, and then were able to sustain later?
To start the game the way we did, I think we had 4 straight 3 and outs to start the game. It was just, you can't ask for a better scenario from your defense. It gave us short fields. We were able to get 17 quick points, and that changes the game. From the opponent's standpoint, they're chasing 17 points really early in the game.
Yeah.
Where the wind did play a factor, Kevin, was in the special teams game and the punting. And, it was really hard to flip the field when you were going into the wind unless you were able to get a few first downs and help your punter out. So we were fortunate that our defense, first quarter, kept them right where they were. They had to punt into the wind, and it was really difficult to punt the ball.
It was funny because at the end of the first quarter, you were calling the timeouts to make sure that they had to punt into the wind. And I was thinking, what is he doing? And then it clicked. I thought, you want that offensive field position. Speaking of, you guys took advantage of that in that first quarter and then throughout. Brock Rudder, again, his first playoff game, how did you think he performed?
Thought he played really well again, and our receivers were tremendous. Ryan Cool. You're going to talk to Alex here, who had, I think, 7 catches for 107 yards and a touchdown again. 2 touchdowns, I think. So just great performances all around. Offensive line did a terrific job of protecting the quarterback again. Very pleased.
You talked about the special teams. Zane Ladico had a nice game. He had that one punt into the wind that still went 46 yards. The importance that you guys have always put on special teams, it came to fruition in this one, didn't it?
Yeah, those units are just as important as your offense and defense. It oftentimes goes overlooked what those special teams units do, and in our program, it's really, really important. We spend a lot of time on it, and those guys take pride in the role that they play. We don't use a ton of starters on those units, offensive, defensive starters. We consider those special teams guys starters. So it's very important to them and the program.
First time for most of the team getting playoff experience. Only the seniors who were around in 2013 had it. Is it a good experience to get under their belt for this upcoming week?
Sure, and I think having that kind of an atmosphere and those kind of elements, I thought was a great way to kick things off for those young guys dealing with a little bit of adversity. That really is the first cold day we've had all year. So we haven't had an opportunity to practice in those elements, that kind of a wind situation. So it was really a great way to kick things off.
I don't think it's getting any warmer, so it's probably a good test for them to go through.
Right.
We got Wheaton coming up next, but first we got to go back and check the tape. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Check the Tape is on deck. We'll be back on the Red Zone. Welcome back to the Red Zone, and now it's time to get a sneak peek inside the film room. It's time for Check the Tape.
This Red Zone segment is sponsored by M&M Rentals.
All right, Coach, so now this is the second quarter. Rose-Hulman has the wind at their back, and they're driving. They're actually sustaining a drive. That is until Tommy Sora comes up and lays a big hit.
Yeah, Tommy's been doing this stuff all year, puts the helmet right on the football. He's a great player and really a great leader. Very, very intelligent. He sets everything up for our defense verbally, so excited for him. The way he's played this year, late last year he really started to turn a corner and play at a really high level, and that's continued. He just keeps getting better every week. So not surprised at all that he made that play.
Happy that the conference recognized that with the first team all-selection?
Absolutely. Yep. He deserved it, deservedly so.
Yeah. Second play, another defensive guy. This is Brandon Kibbe. Now, you and I talked about this in the postgame, but he was on Alec Fisher most of the game, a big wide receiver. Here, he wasn't matched up on him, but he made a huge play on a fourth down attempt by Rose-Hulman.
Great job of rallying back to the ball. They caught the ball short of the stakes, and Brandon accelerated through that tackle and made sure the guy did not get to the marker. And again, there's a fourth down opportunity right at midfield, so we get a stop, and we got a short field again. The field position was huge.
Technique there. Is it more technique, or is it just sheer will to drive that guy backward?
Combination of both. I mean, you really have to be sound in blocking and tackling to be a good football team.
Yeah.
So we work on those things all the time, but then there has to be some will with it too.
Last play, and you want to talk about imposing your will. Ryan Cool absolutely went up and got 2 footballs.
Yeah.
Really special.
Yeah, I think Ryan was frustrated. That kid had been, kid's a good player.
Yeah.
But he had held him 3 or 4 times in the game. We hadn't gotten a call. Finally, right before this play, they did finally call the hold, and then we just went right back to him 2 plays in a row. And yeah, this is a terrific catch. Great throw by Brock, getting it up there where Ryan could make a play on the ball. But he is another one that just keeps getting better every single week, playing at an extremely high level. He's reminded me a lot of Pete Sorensen.
Yeah.
When he was a junior, that year was special for Pete. And he just kept improving, and we're seeing that with Ryan right now. It's exciting.
I want to talk about Wheaton. This is the next opponent. And I know you guys have said this all year, nameless, faceless opponent. But is it a lot harder when the name is Wheaton and you look across the line of scrimmage and there's orange and blue?
You know, we prepare the same way. There's always going to be that added layer of intensity, I think, when you're playing a team of that caliber. Forget about that it's Wheaton. It's a really good football team. You know, when you throw on top of it that it's our number 1 rival, and it's a great rivalry. It's a healthy rivalry. Sure, it's a little bit more intense, but it's still about us. It's still about playing football the way we want to play.
Yeah.
And it's harder to do that when you're facing a really good team. So naturally, there's a little bit more that goes into the preparation. But we continue to talk about that. It's 1 week at a time, so Wheaton's the only thing we're thinking about now. And if we're fortunate enough to play good football and advance, then we'll worry about whoever the next one is. But this will be a great challenge. We're looking forward to it.
You faced them early in the year, 35-25 a victory. How much value have you put on that game tape over, say, last week's their win against Huntington?
It's important because you've got to look at the way a team is playing you, and certainly I'm sure they're doing the same thing. Not to say that at all that we're not looking at what they've done against other teams, because that's who they are. You know, as I told you at the post-game interview, that you know they know us really well and we know them really well. There's really no secrets. Who's going to show up and play more sound, fundamentally sound, high contact level football is going to be the team that walks away victorious on Saturday.
I'm sure you've looked at those 2 games in particular. Have you noticed things that they've improved on in the time period that you've last seen them to now?
Yeah, I think they're doing a couple things differently on offense. Defensively, they've been fantastic all season long. Not many adjustments there. Same guys on the field. They're extremely well coached on both sides of the ball. Defensively, they make it really hard to run the football. That's why they're, I think, second nationally in rush defense. So you got to find ways and get creative to find some running lanes and make sure we protect the quarterback and find some passing lanes.
First time ever, these 2 schools are meeting in the postseason. The first time any CCIW schools have met in the postseason since, I think, the 80s.
Yeah.
So pretty special to be part of history right here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's again, go back to the idea that it's a great opportunity for our guys to face Wheaton a second time in the same season, a 5th time for our seniors, and it's 2-2. So it's kind of the rubber match for our seniors. It'll be a lot of fun.
Coach, good luck. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, can't wait. Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks for stopping by. Alex Ulmer and Kevin Nalefski join me on set. We'll be right back on the Red Zone. A pair of seasoned vets join me on the show, Alex Ulmer and Kevin Nalefski, and pretty fun senior season, huh, folks?
Absolutely. Definitely.
Let's talk about this last one. I'll start with Kevin. Rose-Hulman, that's a good football team. They come in and they struggled against the defense. You guys knew that they'd be fast-paced. Did they show you what you prepared for?
Yes, definitely. There was we were doing well in the beginning of the game. We had a lot of 3-and-outs, like Coach mentioned earlier. There was one that there was a couple drives where they started push tempo, which really made us get back. We had been practicing that in practice all week, but getting it in the game, you really have to kick it into high gear. But I think we responded well, and especially in that turnover, that was one of the drives that they were pushing it, and so Sora got his head on the ball, and that really helped us out there.
When a team is pushing it like that, does it help that it's cold? Is it because, like, if it's hot, you guys are probably sucking wind a little bit?
Yeah. But I don't think it really matters, actually, because I think our coach, our defensive coordinator, has been telling us, especially when we get into scenarios like that, even if they're not pushing it, just when you keep getting play after play, if you're not getting stops or anything, you really have to center yourself and make sure that you clear your head out after every play. I think we can do that in any game, whether or not it's hot or cold.
Interesting. Alex, I want to go back to the offense. I mean, another explosive performance. Brock Rudder continues to do some amazing things with the football, and you were his first target in the end zone. How special is this offense? You've seen a bunch of them over your years. You were even here for the Spencer Stanek-led offense. Yep. I mean, how crazy is it this year?
Well, I just love how we can spread the ball to so many targets. We have so many weapons. I think me and Ryan both had 7 catches. Dylan had 5. And Brunick finally got his feet wet going. I think he had 80 yards running with a touchdown. So really, we just spread the ball around, and no one can stop us. So it's awesome.
When you guys go out, do you think on every play that there's a possibility you have the ball? Because it seems like Brock actually does go through progressions. A lot of college quarterbacks have a one read and they go, but Brock makes those progressions. Does that keep you on your toes?
Oh, absolutely. He checks down all the time, and there's certain plays where he knows if there's one certain coverage, this one route will be open, and he is able to read that. That really says a lot about him and his preparation and really what a quarterback he is and how much growth. He's only a freshman. Yeah. So I'm excited to watch him these next couple of years.
I thought it was hilarious. Last week, Dylan said that there was a game, I think it was the Carroll game, that he's like, we knew we were going to come out and maybe try and go like to me and Ryan, and Alex ended up with the first 5 targets. Like, what? What is this? It's what happens.
Yeah, the Friday before, I think I had 1 catch in the walkthrough, and first drive, 5 catches. Dylan's, I hate that. I hate him.
There you go.
So now let's move on, because this is now the focus this week, and it's Wheaton, and this is a familiar opponent for you guys. You faced off with them 3 times in your career, 4 times in your career, 2nd time in a single season. Does that make it harder, or does it make it easier in the way you prepare for the game?
I don't actually think it changes preparation. I don't know about you, but it's just another opponent. I know we say that a lot, but our preparation doesn't increase because it's a different opponent. It stays the same, and that's the way we're able to play at a high level, is that we treat every opponent with respect and prepare to the best of our ability.
Yeah, I would just say, they're going to be them and we're going to be us, and that's the way it's been for 4 years. And whoever takes care of the football, I think turnovers is going to be the difference in the game. And I think we should take care of that. So
I didn't know this was the rubber match for the seniors, like Hope said. Does that make this even? I mean, I know that it's the playoffs and it's the right to advance, and that's like the focus. But does that factor in a little bit?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Hopefully, it's a cold atmosphere, and they got that playoff football vibe to it. A lot of fans. What do you expect the environment to be like? The atmosphere?
It's going to be a fun time. I mean, the playoff games are always fun. Like back when we were freshmen, and getting to be a part of those was great. Yeah. But actually getting to play in the games, and especially one like this one, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Does it make a difference when there's no party in the north end zone? Like those guys aren't going to be behind the barriers?
It does make a difference.
Yeah,
it does. Kind of sad last week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You celebrate, and you're like, well, where is everybody? But no, it'll be fun. It'll be a great atmosphere. I think we should have a huge crowd. Everybody's home for Thanksgiving break too.
And we know that, especially for a game like this against Wheaton in the playoffs, everyone is going to be tuning in. So we'll have them around in spirit.
All right, you guys ready for the quick hits? Just because it's the playoffs doesn't mean we break tradition this year.
Of course not.
So here we go. We'll start with Kevin. Your favorite cartoon growing up?
Easy. Avatar: Last Airbender. I love that show. I watch it to this day. It's fantastic animation quality, first of all. Second off, great plot, great cinematics.
I also enjoy that show, but I will say Codename Kids Next Door. Where these kids always fight these adults, and it was awesome. I've enjoyed that.
Ulmer still watches cartoons to this day.
I do. I love cartoons. It's Adventure Time, Rick and Morty.
Some fantastic ones.
Great shows.
He's got the game tape on his iPad, but he's actually got the phone watching cartoons.
Well, Coach is right.
Second question for you guys. Describe, we'll start with Alex on this one. Describe the worst haircut you've ever had.
Well, when I was younger, I thought it was really cool to have long bangs, but short in the back. It was like a bowl,
like a
reverse
mullet.
In the front.
Yeah, exactly.
Reverse mullet.
And I don't know why my parents let me do that. So that's really a bust on them. So,
Kev,
Everyone loves my haircut, all right? No, there was, in high school, we would get mohawks before the first game. And one year, actually tying back to the cartoon, I decided to get an arrow on my head because the main character in that show has an arrow in his head. Little do I know, the buddy who was shaving my head had like some old, nasty, gnarly clippers and dug giant chunks into my head.
Oh my God.
It was not a fun time. And yeah, it did not look like an arrow.
Did it turn out very
No, it did not look like an arrow by the end of it. Oh yeah, it was bad.
I'm really glad I asked that question. Last one for you, and it's kind of the same theme. Worst playoff beard currently on the team. Or, no, best playoff beard.
Okay.
We'll go best playoff beard on the team.
Well, I mean, I'm going to have to say one of our coaches, Coach Janisek, he looks like a lumberjack that just came out from the woods. It's thick, and he uses it with authority. I mean, it is a man beard. It's pretty great.
I will say worst is definitely Jeremy. So I
He
will
was
say
rocking
that.
it last week.
Yeah.
He tries.
But most impressive, Nolan Brannick. If you actually think about it, we finally convinced him halfway through November in playoff beard, to grow it out. And he's actually got a decent beard. It's all blonde. But take a look at it next time you see him. It's impressive.
We'll talk to him. We'll talk to him after the game and just put the camera directly on the beard.
Because he shaves like every day. So finally got him to grow it out for more than a week.
Guys, thanks for hopping on. A lot of fun. Good luck against Wheaton. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Thanks for stopping by.
No problem. Thank you.
We're going to take a break. The Cardinal Corner is coming up next. We'll be right back on the Red Zone.
This Red Zone segment is sponsored by Belgio's Catering.
Since the Cardinals and Thunder are matching up for the second time this year, it's time to count down the top 5 plays since the last time these two teams met. Starting at number 5, Will Connick is a freshman, but he's trucking people like he's been doing this for years. This run against Carthage nets him 38 yards and the score. Check it again, shades of Nick Kukoc, oh my. Let's go to a more recent play, as in this ridiculous grab by Ryan Kuhl against Rose-Hulman. Even more impressive, how about the fact that he hauled in a 32-yard dart from Brock Rutter on the play just before this 24-yard strike. 56 yards, 2 plays, 1 touchdown. Okay, so at number 3, it's not exactly a scoring play, but Alex Ulmer certainly did just about everything he could. Off the deflection, the senior receiver starts bobbing and weaving through traffic like he's late for a Thanksgiving dinner. He's even got number 29 tackling his own guy on his way down to the 13-yard line. The play is impressive until you check out the celebration dance. That is incredible. So we've heard this year the defensive line tell each other they'll meet at the quarterback. Who knew they actually meant it literally? Billy Dowds, Andrew Cray, Amonte Logan, and Josh Leonard all collide on the quarterback at the same time. Is a quarter sack a thing? Finally, our number 1 play goes to Mr. Dylan Warden for a second straight top 5. This grab, sensational. And then to stop on a dime and make another guy miss? Get out of here. Check this out again. Right up and over the top, and number 7 has grabbed the Cardinals 7. So crazy, even Brock was amazed. It's time for this week's Play of the Game. Let's set this one up. Playoffs, round 1, mid-third quarter, 4th and 4. Brandon Kibbe.
49-yard line inside Cardinal territory. Swenson, deep drop back, goes to the flat, and Brandon Kibbe will deny them the first down.
The cornerback stuffs them on 4th down and earns the red zone's Play of the Game.
It's time, as always, for our weekly sit-down with North Central Sports Information Director Clark Tusher. And Clark, I know it's a big week, not just the football team continuing on in the playoffs, but how about cross country, winning nationals for a 17th time?
Not really anybody expected. People expected that we would be in contention to win. They didn't expect to win by quite as many points as they did, breaking their own record for margin of victory. The 12-second gap between your first 5 finishers, by far the best in the field. So, definitely a performance for the ages in Louisville, Kentucky.
They all finished the top 5, I think, in the top 25, if I'm not mistaken. You had some people down there from Sports Information. What was the feeling like when they realized what they had just done?
About halfway through the race, it was apparent that they were going to win, and then the question was just by how much. They really did an excellent job of having a plan of where they were going to attack the course based on the wind and the conditions, and where there were going to be more open spots where you can pass people, and just really executed that plan to perfection, and really a whole lot of emotional outpouring after how last year's championship meet went and all the disappointment that came with that after they had such high expectations. So it was definitely a bit of a catharsis on the part of the athletes as well as the coaches. So it was a pretty excited atmosphere after that.
So they get the national championship, and then almost like clockwork, it's Alcarius winning the National Coach of the Year. You said last week you probably didn't even know about the last award he won. Do you think he knows about this one?
Yeah, he probably knows about this one. I don't think he gets too far on campus without hearing somebody congratulate him about that one. It's just well-deserved. It's the 10th one.
Wow.
It's interesting the things that can become routine, winning awards like that. So, I'm pretty sure he's aware of this one.
Let's go from season's end to season's beginning with the basketball teams. Both teams off to very good starts. Let's start with the women's 2-0. They've beaten Piedmont and Benedictine, and they've looked good doing it with a lot of new players on the court.
It's a system that you can break players in pretty quickly because everybody has pretty simple defined roles. It's a very different way of playing basketball. Everybody gets a chance to contribute and get minutes and get reps right away. And they may tighten that rotation up as the season goes on, but they got 2 wins against teams that will probably have winning records this year, and probably think that they can play a lot better. There's some fine tuning to be done there, but definitely a promising start.
And then the men's team travels up the road to Lisle and takes down number 6 Benedictine. It was a close game in that second half. It got down to a single point a couple of times, but was Coach Raridan pretty happy with the fact that they pulled out that win against a top-flight opponent?
It's a kind of win that, regardless of when you get it, is really good for a team. To be able to have it happen in the season opener when you haven't played yet and the other team has. Especially a team coming off such a big year as Benedictine is, definitely prepares you to do a lot of things in conference, and is a great start as they start a busy week playing 2 more games before the week's end. Let's
go to swimming. An individual recognized from the swimming team, and they're kind of in mid-season at this point, right?
Yeah, they're just kind of getting started. We had a young lady, Catherine Canfield, who is the swimmer of the week in the conference. It's been a while since we've had someone win that award. And for a team that's still kind of in the build-up stage and kind of focusing on training through a lot of these competitions, some improved performances are definitely encouraging to see.
And then finally wrestling, because they had that opening meet loss to Northwestern, and since then they've absolutely dominated everywhere they go. Now Leighton Binion, CCW Wrestler of the Week.
A tournament champion for the 2nd straight week over at Trine, and he and Ben Williamson, the 2 nationally ranked wrestlers, both competing very strongly right now and leading a team that's like the swimming team. They're really focusing on training and using these early season meets as part of their preparation for what they're going to be doing in conference competition after the new year.
Cool. Well, thanks for stopping by. Hopefully we get to see you again next week.
All right, let's go for it.
That's all the time we have on this edition of the Red Zone. Join us on Saturday when the Cardinals clash with the Thunder at Benedetti Worley Stadium. We'll have the game here on NCTV 17 with the pregame starting at 11:45 and the kickoff coming at noon. I'm Kevin Jackman. We'll see you next time on a brand new episode of the Red Zone.